So that way when it comes back in for the fullness of the drop, it just sounds more full.
Mary's making magic out of nothing. Go.
Something super subtle. What's up? I'm Devyn. I'm building music and other creative skills in public rather than perfecting in private. And in today's video, I'm going to be going through the last little bit of processes that I did to finish my song, Needles. Let's jump in the DAW. Wonderful. We have arrived in Ableton. In the previous video concerning this song, I was mainly going through this drum break. And just peppering that throughout the song. Little things like that. The biggest changes that have been made since then were, well, I mixed it first and foremost. I'll go over that a little bit at the end. The biggest change was I added lyrics. Reason why I added lyrics is because I have a friend named Jack. He goes by Ralph Rico. That's his artist name. You can look him up. He'll be putting out music very, very soon. I showed him this song. He said, hey, bro, this part right here, I only had that for 4 bars. He said he gave the suggestion of looping it, having it be 8 bars and then just putting it on TikTok or something to have other artists, singers, rappers, whatever, do a verse over it, do a stitch. I was like, I'm not really feeling that idea. But then once I opened the project again to finish it, after speaking with him, I actually had it looped from when we were on FaceTime together. And then I started singing. So words came to me. And I'm just going to use that because that's how I'm feeling. It's my song. It's how I feel. This is what I came up with. These are those words.
And I've been at my limits. Ask me how I'm doing, I reply with a lie. Angels running deep, now I'm in a deep dive. I've been trying to catch my breath, demons running out of time. This cold is like needles, I could use a couple needles in this feeble state just to feel something. I said I'd give it up, steady testing on my luck. Hail Mary's making magic out of nothing.
So rather than going right into the drop, I made the decision to let the drop build for 4 more bars. And during that, I have the vocal chop here doing a ever so subtle volume increase. It's only increasing, by about 3 decibels before the actual drop happens. It's not something that's really audible. I mean, it is, but it's gradual. To me, it's more so felt, and it just kind of helps increase the impact of the drop once we actually get to go. It just pulls it forward a little bit more. That's what I did. And of course, having the pre-drop vocal.
Hail Mary's making magic out of nothing.
During that, I do a filter on the vocal chop just to help tuck it under so it doesn't clash too much with the vocals. And then even while the vocals are going on, I do have this sidechain compressor down here triggering or being triggered by the vocals. So that way, anytime the vocals are happening, the vocal chop is ducking down the same time the vocals do. So that way they don't clash. Oh, and that's the filter you hear. So that way when it comes back in for the fullness of the drop, it just sounds more full.
Mary's making magic out of nothing. Go.
Something super subtle just to help kind of not compress, but condense the arrangement before the drop happens. Another thing I added vocally is this hum in the beginning. And it's a homage to a song I have called Mirrors in the Elevator. It's one of my favorite songs I've written. This is a piece from that. It's a line I hum in that song while I was waiting to record the actual vocals, I just started humming that and it felt right. So that's what I'm leaving. It's a motif from another song. It's kind of like an Easter egg if you know my catalog. So in context. It's not something I wanted in your face. I really wanted it just tucked back there. Just a nice little layer. It makes me smile. It makes me feel good. So that's why it's in there. There's this noise layer that's really cool. Hear this. Without any effects, it's just a simple noise. Simple noise. There we go. High pass noise. That's it. That's all. Then I have it sidechain gated to these synths. What that does is anytime these synths, that pattern, that's going to trigger the gate. That's going to trigger the gate. I'm pointing like you can see me pointing at the screen. That's going to, I need to get one of those mouse things. Someone did recommend that. That'll be in the next video. Down here, down at the bottom. Anytime that synth, you see right there, that triggers the gate. So the noise can come through. So you'll hear that pattern. Right. Then I have the synths as well. This. Then I have the synths sidechain expanding the level of the noise. It'll make sense. So, look at this. You hear it without this compressor on. The sidechain expansion will just help lift it up anytime those the rhythm from the synth triggers it. So without, with, it's slightly louder. Then I have an imager here just to help increase the stereo width of this noise. So without, with. This imager kind of tucks things, from your perspective, tucks things back in the mix a little more. So it doesn't feel like it's necessarily widening it, but it feels like it's just increasing the depth. Just ever so slightly. Then I use microshift right here to increase the width. So you'll hear without it. And with, if you have headphones on, you really notice it. Cool. Without. With. Okay. So now I'll solo the synths and the noise so you can hear how it all sounds together. This is without everything I just broke down. You just hear that noise constantly throughout. So now with all this stuff engaged, it's a nice little texture in the side of the ears. Super subtle, but if I turn it off, you might be able to notice it. Pay attention to both ears. It just helps fill out that frequency spectrum a little more. Not even ear candy, it's like the crispiness on a bacon, on a piece of bacon. Or if you don't eat pork, it's like the crispy part of a piece of toast, I guess. All right, so that's that. Then the next thing I'm going to address is the 808. The 808 was cool. Had some pretty neat processing. Super simple. I'm going to turn the snare off. I'm just going to mute this. So we have the 808 here. actually gonna play it from here, but it's a decent sample. It's really cool. I like how that 808 sounds. So then I just do sidechain compression to the kick, so it moves out the way anytime the kick comes in. Ducks down a little more just to make more room for the kick. A little bit of EQ around 150. What's that? 135. Just to let the punch of the kick come through a little more. Then this has been something that's increasing its appearances in my tracks. Black box. It's a saturator. Watch your ears because it's going to get louder. I am increasing the output a little bit. In addition to the saturation I'm doing. Here it kind of adds those upper harmonics. Not upper, but mid upper harmonics. Higher harmonics than the sub frequencies is what I'm getting at. So without, it's nice and smooth. With, it's crunchier. Wow. Right. Like it wants to shake your trunk, yeah? And then some clipping. Just to make it a little bit more crunchy. With the snare. I really like that. In context, it sounds like this without this processing on the 808. It's there, but that mug is not. Boom. I need it. More present. So I'll just go back and forth one more time so you can hear everything with it. Just do it this way. Yeah. So on, well, off, on, and then on. Just not as full. That's the 808. Mainly. And I also tried a new process or new technique where I'm going into the red on purpose. The reason why I'm doing this is because I've been learning that when working in a digital domain, that Ableton, I'm sure it's other DAWs because they're digital as well, but I work in Ableton. So what I've learned is that the Ableton clipper or the Ableton master fader, if you go above 0, the way the algorithm handles the audio, it actually is nice in the sense of the clipping that it does can enhance the track in a way. I'm not pushing it too far into the red. I am being very conservative with this. Actually, what I did was I did bounce this. So this says 3.5. What I did do is I bounced this mix entirely, imported it into another Ableton project, and then actually increased that by 2 more decibels. So I'm actually, whatever this says, it's like 2 more into the red. So let's get to the loudest part of the song. Watch your ears. So we're looking at like 4.5 decibels. So I'm technically 6.5 decibels over 0. If you go ahead and listen, that's the version you hear that's on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you're listening to. That's me experimenting with a new technique. And another thing I was doing was just using a very liberal use of clippers to get the most out of every sound. The sounds that I wanted to be pushed. That completes the breakdown of my song Needles. If you like the song, be cool. Go listen to it. Add it to your library. If you really like the song, you can be even cooler and show a friend or a few. I'd appreciate it. And you never know, they might like it as well. Either way, the song is available to stream. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And until next time, peace.